As DBAs, you would be aware of the SQL Server maintenance that you do weekly, be it your backups or be it your index organization, index rebuilds, or your database integrity checks. You would also be aware of Ola Hallengren's solution that is for your SQL Server maintenance. The maintenance solution has got the backups, the database integrity checks, and the index organized jobs. These will take care of your database maintenance. In this video, we will be using this Ola Hallengren solution for SQL managed instance in Azure. So you can see what versions of SQL Server are supported, and you can see it supports Azure SQL managed instance. This is the URL ola.hillengren.com. This is the frequently asked questions, and you can just go through it to see what all things you need to be aware of before using this solution. We will be using this to run our database integrity checks. We'll also run our index organize and also do a database backup using the solution. So let's go ahead and download the solution. You can see it has the database backup, integrity checks, and the index organize maintenance solution. So let's create a database in our managed instance and we will call it DBA. Let's create a database, DBA. This is where all our objects for the database maintenance will be stored. So all the the components that Ola Hallengren solution requires will be stored here. It may select the owner. That should be fine. Okay. So the database is created. We will be using this to store the configs or the the various components of that solution, because I wouldn't recommend storing that in master. So it's a good practice to create a user database where you store all of this. Then I'll download the maintenance solution .sql file. You can also download the individual files, the backup, like for example, if you need to just have the backup solution, you can only download those files. But let me just download the entire solution, store it in a place, and then we will run that solution. I've already connected the SQL managed instance from my management studio. This is my maintenance solution.sql. Let me open this. Let me copy this and paste it in management studio. As you can see, it uses master, so please change this to a user database that you would use. It can be a any name of the database. I use DBA usually, and there are a lot of configurations that you can change. So do read through all the configurations in your Ola Hallengren's website. But in this video, we will just be doing the quick configuration and do a backup. Will quickly run the database integrity checks and also an index organize. You can go through this entire solution. It's pure SQL. So if you want to go and understand, you can do that. In our case, we will just need to change the use database to DBA. So that's the database where we will be running. Let me copy that. I'm already connected to my managed instance. Let me open a new query and paste the maintenance solution.sql. It's here and I should be able to just run it here and it should be fine. You can see it has a lot of parameters and a lot of configurations that you can do. It creates a table called command log, which is where the logs are stored. And if I do a quick search for create, so you can see it creates jobs, it creates some store procs, it creates a lot of objects, database objects that will be created. You can see a command execute, store proc, and a few more. It will also create store procs for the database backups, the database integrity checks, and the index organize. So all of these objects will be created once I run this T-SQL on my DBA database. So this is all good. I've changed my use database to DBA and I'll run it. Takes a few seconds and the command completed successfully. If I go to DBA, I should be able to see the table command log. And yes, I can see that. It's currently empty because we have not run any of the jobs. So when you run the index organize or the database integrity checks with a parameter or an argument as log to table equals to yes, then it will log the results into this table. And these are the SQL Server agent jobs that it creates. Let's run the database integrity checks for user database just to test it out, and it should run fine. This job does the database integrity check, the DBCC, uh, for your all the user databases. There is one for system database as well. And this index optimize, by default, the lower limit for the fragmentation is 5 and the higher is 30. So if there is index fragmentation less than 5%, it does nothing. So from 5 to 30%, it will do the index reorganize, and anything above 30% will be index rebuild. Let's schedule our index optimized job as well. We would like to usually run it on weekends, so Sunday overnight, 12 o'clock, I mean midnight should be fine. And yeah, that's how you schedule that. You can schedule your database integrity checks as well. Now let's create a new job. For some reason the database backup jobs were not created. I did not try to troubleshoot that, but like since the store proc has already been created, we can actually create the job ourselves, and this will actually walk you through the process in which you can create your own jobs rather than relying on the maintenance solution. So let's create a job and let's name it, let's name the step as backup to blob, and this is where you will give your command. So I've used these parameters to run the store proc. I've given user databases as my databases, backup type is full, and yeah, so all the parameters are fine. We have already tested that our credentials exist, and we have also run a backup using those credentials, so it's all fine. Let me change the URL, and I've changed the URL, so that's the container where my backups will go. All looks good. Let me save that, click OK, and click OK. So that's our backup job. So in case you want to create your own jobs, you can always create that and just use the store procs that's created from Ola Hallengren solution. When I run the job, I can see the backup failed. Let me see what's the issue. We will troubleshoot that, we'll fix that. This will give us more idea on how to find the errors and how to fix those for this maintenance solution. So let's go to our job, and you can see the job history and the log, the error log for the job. If we scroll down, we should be able to see why it failed. And usually it's the bottom line that will give you more details. So I'll just scroll down. And okay, so as you can see, the fifth line from the bottom, SQL database managed instance only supports copy only full backups. So in the parameters that we passed, we did not supply the copy only parameter. That's why it was trying to take a full backup without copy only, which is not allowed in managed instance. This is because managed instance has its own automated backups running, and if you take a full backup without copy only, it will have cause break the LSN chain, which you do not want and which is not allowed at all. So that's one of the features of managed instance. So that's fine. We need to find the configuration or the parameter copy only and how we actually pass it in our job. So if I quickly try to find copy only, I should be able to see how it works. You can also find it in Ola Hallengren's documentation. So, you can see it only supports copy only backups in managed instance, and this is the parameter that we need to pass. At the rate copy only is yeah, what's expected. So let's pass that. This was actually a very good error to troubleshoot, because you will definitely face some issues, but the documentation is very clear and you should be able to find all the solutions. We are good here. Let's go back to our job. Actually, if we go back to Ola Hallengren's documentation, we should be able to see that. Let me go to the job, the steps, edit, and instead of copy underscore only, it would be copy only equals to y. This is the documentation in Ola Hallengren. And if when once done, I've saved it. Let me run the job again. The backup should run fine now. And even though SQL Server, the Azure Managed Instance has its automated backups, and but obviously you want sometimes to have your own backup strategy for uh, retention, or you want just want to have your own backup. So in case of a disaster, sometimes you can just use the backups to restore it and start running your application from there. So this solution will help you back up databases from Azure Managed Instance. As you can see, the database backup ran fine. And let's quickly see our backup set in MSDB. So MSDB dot backup set. This will give us some information about all the backups that has run so far. You can already see a lot of backups have run, and that would be mostly the automated backups that's running from Microsoft's, or the inbuilt solution. And let's find our backup that we just ran. We can order by the backup date, backup start date, space DSC descending, and now we have ordered it. Now we want to find the full backup that we just took, where the type is equals to D, and we should be able to find the full backup, capital D. So that's there. You can see backup from my username. That's the one that we just took. We will go to the portal and we will see the backup file in our Azure container as well. This is all the logs from our SQL Server's MSDB database. But Ola Hallengren solution also stores the logs in a table called command log. But for that to work, you will have to pass an argument. You can see my backup has not listed here. That's because my backup job does not have a parameter. That's, when you want to write the logs into the command log table, you need to pass this. So I'll go back to my job. If you check one of the jobs, you can see how that gets passed. Log to table equals to y. So these are just the flags, or the parameters that you pass. So I'll do that in our backup job. Edit, and the last argument, or the last parameter, log to table. All good. Let me run that database backup job again. And this time it should log the information in our command log table. The job is successful. And if we go to our container, refresh, you can see there is a folder in the name of our SQL server, that is free SQL MI. And if I go into that particular folder, I should see my backup file, and in the command log I can see the last log for backup database. This is the one. So it is logging perfectly fine. So yeah, this is the way you can have your automated database management, maintenance, database maintenance for your SQL managed instance, be it backup, be it integrity checks, or be it index optimization or index organization. And that's all for today. We can go ahead and schedule that as per your requirement, and in this case we will do the same daily probably, or of weekly, whatever suits you. You can do that. Let me do it daily. So if I want a daily or midnight backup to restore it somewhere else and do development there or something like that, I can do that. So yeah, that was a quick tutorial on automated doing your database maintenance in Azure.